Tonight on CTV News at 6, a rare crop found by police in an Edmonton field. Row upon row of opium poppies seized.
About 60,000 plants being grown in a backfield at that location.
Week 2 of the teachers' strike, the union and province back at the table.
The real disconnect seems to be between this government and what's going on in school.
And election advertising, the group saying what the candidates can't.
They can also be misleading because they're not held to the same scrutiny as a political candidate.
After a chilly Thanksgiving weekend, a warming trend is on the way as temperatures return to the low to mid-teens.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Edmonton police say they've discovered something not typically seen in our country, calling it an elaborate poppy growing operation. 60,000 plants have been seized from a farm in Edmonton. As CTV's Merrick DeCash reports, police believe they were going to be sold on the illicit market to be turned into opioids.
Edmonton police say a farm in northeast Edmonton was growing something quite unusual in this part of the world.
Opium poppies, they can be used to produce a number of substances with significant analgesic effects to them, such as heroin and morphine and other such opioids.
4 people have been arrested in connection with the alleged opium poppy operation near 34th Street and 195th Avenue.
About 60,000 plants being grown in a backfield at that location.
This property is within city limits, but as you can see, it's quite a rural area surrounded by farmland northeast of the Anthony Henday, just off Highway 15.
There was a bunch of trucks and other vehicles on site. But the crops, it was only this being grown.
Police say a poppy growing operation of this size is extremely rare in Canada.
We did come across individual plants being grown by people the odd time. Calgary, I believe, had also a smaller scale one, but nothing in this scale. We haven't seen anything like that.
The only other time we've really come across a commercial level grow like this was back in 2010 in Chilliwack, BC.
Police say the plants have an estimated value of between $160,000 and $500,000.
So it was good work by these investigators to locate and destroy this crop before it was able to be sent out and cause that harm to our community.
Police were led to the property after receiving a tip. 4 men are being charged with production of a controlled substance. Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton police have laid charges in a 2024 homicide against a man already in custody in connection to another high-profile killing. Arthur Wayne Penner has been charged with second-degree murder in the death of a 34-year-old man. The man was shot dead February 2024 in the area of 106th Street and 74th Avenue. Penner is currently in custody facing murder and attempted murder charges in a shooting east of Calgary. RCMP say a Rocky View County worker was killed when he saw a truck on fire and pulled over to help. Police believe the accused and another man tried to take the worker's truck. Penner was arrested in Edmonton shortly after. The union representing Alberta teachers in the province is back at the bargaining table. Both sides are hoping to hammer out a deal as the teachers' strike enters its second week. Narman Issa reports.
It's been more than a week since Alberta teachers went on strike.
I'd like to be hopeful that after a week of putting pressure, that they listen to the things that we're asking for.
The Alberta Teachers Association and the province are back at the bargaining table. They are being joined by a mediator.
I want to be able to like my job again and be able to feel like I can do the things that I'm supposed to be doing all the time. And those classroom complexity issues would help to address that.
Last week, Alberta's finance minister said it had received a new proposal from the ATA. Details are not being released. The last offer included a 12% pay raise over 4 years and a promise to hire 3,000 more teachers to address class sizes. About 90% of teachers who voted said no to the deal.
The real disconnect seems to be between this government and what's going on in schools.
Peter McKay is the former lead negotiator for the ATA. He says salary will also play a big role in the deal.
If you're going to attract more teachers, any of those solutions to class size or class conditions needs more teachers. And you can't attract more teachers without a more competitive salary. And right now, Alberta is not competitive.
According to a new Angus Reid survey, more than half of Albertans polled sided with teachers in the ongoing labour dispute.
And crucially, 58%, again, just about 3 in 5, say that they believe the UCP government has been doing a poor job in terms of performance on the education file.
The province says it hopes the ATA proposes a reasonable offer. The ATA says depending on how discussions go on Tuesday, more bargaining dates will be scheduled as needed. Nair Nisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
The province's online financial assistance portal for parents is now open. Parents with children 12 and under can receive up to $150 per child each week. Signatures can now be collected for the Citizen Initiative petition launched by a Calgary teacher. It asks whether Alberta should end the practice of putting public funding towards private schools. This petition will follow the new rules giving canvassers 180 days to collect nearly 178,000 signatures. This is the second citizen petition to be approved since the UCP government eased the rules around referendums in May. Albertans who are looking to book Phase 1 pediatric COVID shots online are being told to call HealthLink instead. One Edmonton family says when they brought in their son for his shot last week, they were turned away. Connor Hogg has more.
Robin Luchantonio and Craig Kotnick both work in healthcare in Alberta. Their son Theo has also spent much of his life in hospital. Multiple throat and chest surgeries have left him highly susceptible to viruses like the flu and COVID.
He is much more high risk, requiring much more invasive interventions that we have to do, either oral steroids or an epinephrine inhaler to help open the airway, and that's really to keep him out of a merge.
Theo qualifies for Phase 1 of the Alberta government's COVID vaccine rollout. His parents booked him in for his appointment using the province's website.
It prompted me to go through, like, do you have anyone under the age of 12 that requires vaccination? Yes.
Luchantonio booked the appointment for last Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. It was also confirmed over the phone earlier in the day. When the family arrived, they were told Theo couldn't get his shot because pediatric vaccines aren't administered on Tuesdays.
They have to open up a special vial that has, like, I think they said 10 doses.
They were told that Theo would have to wait until the end of October or early November, but staff managed to find him an appointment.
They were able to get Theo in, our son in, a few days later on the weekend.
The family is sharing their story to make other parents aware of potential problems.
The fact that we thought we did everything right, and it still didn't work.
There's these barriers and limitations in place, and it's just not okay.
The province's website says that pediatric Phase 1 COVID vaccines can no longer be booked online. Instead, you have to call 811 to book by phone. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Primary Care Alberta says a system issue that allowed online bookings from people under 12 has now been fixed and wants to apologize to parents whose children were unable to receive vaccines they had booked. With less than a week to go before Election Day, thousands of Edmontonians have already cast their ballots. More than 41,000 people voted during advance polls. This year's advance voting ran over 5 days. In 2021, nearly 64,000 people cast ballots early, but the advance vote ran for 10 days. Polling stations across the city will be open Monday on Election Day between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m. Some voters are still deciding which candidate is best for them. Advertising along the campaign trail is attempting to sway public opinion. Kate Squarren has more on third-party advertisers and their effectiveness.
By now, most Edmontonians have seen election signs along their daily commutes. Signs like this are also hoping to influence your vote. Third-party advertisers are using donations to back candidates or campaign issues. Political analyst Najib Jutt says they can be effective depending on their objectives.
Best case, it can the TPA can dive deeper into an issue and say things that maybe the candidate or party can't say. But also, they can also muddy the waters, right? They can also be misleading because they're not held to like the same scrutiny as a political candidate.
Greg Mady is part of Working Families Edmonton, one of a handful of registered third-party advertisers tied to the election. He says the goal is to highlight the issues that are important to them and the candidates who line up with their values.
Third parties are very different than political parties because we cannot share any information with candidates. The candidates we all supported were all independent. We could not give any money, any messaging, any training to any candidates.
Third-party advertisers are also able to oppose and attack candidates they don't agree with. Michael Walters and Andrew Knack have been the target of attack ads. Both mayoral candidates agree these advertisers have no place in a municipal election.
In a world of, attention and social media and lots of distraction, I think they have an impact for sure, and I think that impact is harmful to our democracy and to our civil discourse.
This is not something that's really conducive to good local democracy. It should be about who's knocking on the doors, engaging you on ideas, and so I don't like that third-party advertisers are supporting or attacking candidates.
Judd says the best choice is to use your own discretion and do your research to find the candidate who best represents what you want in an elected official. Gates Gorin, CTV News, Edmonton.
Now that a fire restriction has been lifted and Diwali celebrations are coming up, the city is reminding people to leave fireworks to the professionals. It's been about 5 years since launching your own fireworks in Edmonton was banned. But as Jeremy Thompson reports, the city is still responding to illegal fireworks and the fires they can cause.
You get these little guys, and they shoot flames about this high, and the name in Hindi is Anar.
Uncle John Adria typically sells a few more fireworks around this time of year, though he's clear with his customers, unless you're a professional, you can't launch fireworks in Edmonton, even for Diwali.
Hindu Festival of Lights, people of South Asian origin, including other religious groups besides Hindus, celebrate this event. It's a lot of fun.
Diwali starts Monday, and the city is reminding everyone about fireworks regulations ahead of time. It says in the last 3 months of 2024, peace officers launched 127 investigations into illegal fireworks and issued roughly $6,000 in fines. In that time, fire crews were called to 20 fires they say were started by fireworks.
Considering the number of emails that I've gotten in my inbox during Diwali and other years, that seems kind of low to me.
Councillor Joanne Wright represents Southeast Edmonton, where many people celebrate Diwali. She recalls a fire at Iverdent Sports Park in November of 2023 that was likely sparked by consumer fireworks for the festival. Wright is hopeful it won't happen again.
I think people just have to realize they have to come together at certain gathering places, not set them off in their, their front driveways or backyards, because they're really not meeting the fire hazards.
A fire restriction prohibiting even professional fireworks in Edmonton has just been lifted, likely allowing Uncle John to do a professional Diwali fireworks show at the Bharatiya Cultural Society Monday evening. If you're planning to do it yourself,
please don't be doing it in the city, and I don't want to hear about people getting fines. That would make me really sad.
Fireworks are allowed in some rural areas on private property. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Okay, Josh, I'd like to hear more about this warm-up.
Today was a lot warmer than yesterday, which was a little bit warmer than Sunday. Should be back into the mid-teens, though, I think, on Thursday. Right now, it's 8 degrees in Edmonton, which is down a little bit from our daytime high earlier this afternoon. You get 6 to 8 degree temperatures outside the city and pretty light wind under clear skies right now. 10. Your daytime high. So that puts us back close to average today. We started the day at -4. It's a couple of degrees below average. There was the weekend, though. It started out nice and warm, 16 degrees on Saturday, and then 2 on Sunday and 4 for a daytime high yesterday. As we said, it was lots of sunshine through the day today. Take a look right now through the lens of the CTV drone. Still clear skies hanging over the Edmonton area as it creeps up out of the river valley. No snow on the ground, which is a little different story here compared to parts of southern, especially southwestern Alberta through the mountain parks. Had some snow over the course of the weekend. No snow in our forecast over the next few days. Just clear skies for the rest of tonight. Maybe some showers Thursday evening, maybe late Sunday, a few showers, but no snow. -4 tomorrow morning, so a similar start to what we had today, and then up to about 13 tomorrow afternoon. Sunny with a few thin clouds through tomorrow afternoon. Even warmer Thursday. Let you know how long that warm air will stick around and whether it lasts into this coming weekend in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Josh. Coming up on CTV News at 6, a closer look at safeguards for renters.
It was unimaginable. I kept waking up panicking, thinking they were in my bed.
Protections in place now and how the city can improve awareness of current issues. Stay with us.
Ramsey on Your Morning Edmonton. Our profiles of Edmonton mayoral candidates continue, and celebrating a pediatric cardiologist whose work on heart transplants has saved countless lives.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
An Edmonton man is warning others after it was determined his landlord violated provincial legislation over a pest problem in his apartment. The landlord is Edmonton-based Leston Holdings, a company that owns dozens of multi-unit rental buildings in the city. Tenant advocates say awareness over such issues could be improved with the development of a landlord registry. Here's a closer look.
It was unimaginable. Like, I kept waking up panicking, like thinking they were in my bed.
Months-old memories still etched into Dane Williams' mind. While living at Edmonton House, one of the city's tallest apartment buildings, he says a mouse problem suddenly reared its head.
My partner at the time said, "There's an odor in the closet." And I'm like, okay. So I just opened the closet door and I was like, immediately, I had been around this before, especially in the oil and gas industry. I'm like, that's mouse pee.
Then he says signs started showing up everywhere. A dishwasher leak revealed excrement underneath, and not long after, he found more droppings in different areas of his apartment.
I pulled the fridge out and it was like a disaster back there. Like, I was like, oh my God, like this is a full-blown infestation.
He complained March 9th, but says no assistance was provided. 3 weeks later, he asked what was going on and was told they were trying to arrange an exterminator the following week. On April 10th, he sent an email stating he'd be moving out at the end of the month to find a healthier living environment.
That's when the property manager, Galen, had come back at me with the lease agreement. You know, you can't get out of your lease until this date.
He says an exterminator did come a few days later and left bait traps that attracted the rodents to his bedroom and behind his fridge. It was then that he decided he couldn't wait any longer to move.
I was just blessed enough to be able to afford to leave. But I think of other people that, you know, like have major phobias, and like there's children in this building. So like I expected more. I expected better treatment.
Williams filed a claim with a residential tenancy dispute resolution service. At a hearing in May, the quasi-judicial service found Leston breached the tenancy agreement and provincial regulations by causing significant disruption to the tenant and by failing to meet minimum health standards. Williams was awarded an abatement of 1 month's rent. In a statement, Leston's director of properties says the company respects the tribunal process and has made improvements in response, writing, "We have strengthened our internal procedures to ensure quicker response times and clearer communication with residents."
It's a small number of landlords that are causing an outsized amounts of the problem.
Councillor Michael Jan says he's heard a number of complaints about problem landlords over the years, and while rent regulation is provincial, he believes the city could do more to protect renters.
So I pitched the idea of a landlord registry. The fact that if you're looking to rent a property, you should be able to go and get information about that property. You should know that that property is safe, is clean, is healthy, you should have information about maintenance schedules, things like that, just to know, to give renters a little more power.
The city of Halifax created a landlord registry last year. A longtime city councillor there says it helps the municipality keep track of landlords who repeatedly violate standards and guides proactive inspections.
If we get 4 or 5 or 6 complaints about this one property or this landlord who owns several properties, let's look in the registry. How many do they own? And then we can proactively go and look at those other ones to, make sure that those who are renting accommodations are protected in that way and are in safe environments.
Councillor Sean Cleary says the registry also requires landlords keep a maintenance plan. The city, he says, has templates for those who don't know where to start.
They had concerns going into this, but with the implementation so far, they've had no issues. It's a very simple process. We don't charge a fee for it. It doesn't take more than a few minutes to go on and put that information in.
The city of Edmonton included the creation of a landlord registry in its affordable housing strategy, but in 2023, City Council decided against funding it. Jans hopes money for it can be found in the future. Williams does too.
People should have the right to know where they're about to spend their quiet peace and enjoyment, and really get a full understanding of what they're stepping into.
While this story highlights tenant issues, these types of disputes go both ways. In my next segment, we speak to a landlord who had their home destroyed by who they thought were good tenants.
Still ahead, special duet. Local Indigenous singer shares the stage with Shawn Mendes, and
I just hope they can get their bats going again and things work out. But overall, the last 2 games, bad.
American League Championship Series now shifts to Seattle.
A little bit warmer today than the last couple of days, and that warming trend will continue as temperatures get back above average for the rest of the week. All those details in just a few minutes.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A performance blending star power with Indigenous pride is putting a local singer in the spotlight.
I want to invite someone very special to stage. Please give it up for Tia Wood, Indigenous artist.
Over the weekend, Shawn Mendes performed in Vancouver on his On the Road Again tour. On Sunday, he welcomed Cree singer Tia Wood to perform his song Youth. Wood is from Saddle Lake Cree Nation east of Edmonton. This is the second time the singer has performed at Rogers Arena. The first was at the Juno Awards. Wood added her own verse to the song, blending pop and powwow music together. Mendes then joined Wood on the chorus for a duet.
Anytime that my sister has done something huge and something big, you know, our community and our people take a lot of pride in that. They take a lot of pride in seeing one of our own succeed and one of our own doing great things. And like I mentioned, my sister, she is a pioneer and she's a groundbreaker in her own right.
Her sister says the performance was meaningful to many Indigenous people. Wood's new single drops on Friday. Josh, it was cool enough to be cozy inside over the long weekend.
You didn't get outside?
I didn't go golfing. I didn't, had to dig out the tubes.
That's why the courses were so empty. It was beautiful. Take a look outside right now with the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace fixed right, it's free. 8 degrees right now and clear skies over the Edmonton area, as has been the case all day today. 10s, Fort McMurray and Edmonton for daytime highs. Look at this. It was almost 10 degrees warmer there in through the Peace Country than it was across the south, where you had temperatures a handful of degrees above zero. You're into the low to mid-teens in northwestern Alberta. Here's your Thanksgiving weekend. As we said, started out warm, 16 degrees, but then 2 on Sunday, 4 degrees yesterday. Look at the last 4 years. There's been some really warm weather on Thanksgiving weekends. I know the dates change. We adjusted for that. But mid-20s all 3 days back in 2023. The last time we were cool just like this, in fact, even cooler, 2018, 7 and a pair of -2. So it's been a while since you had a Thanksgiving long weekend as chilly as this past one. It is warming up, though, in the short term. There's your clear skies across the province. Watch this little stripe of cloud cover right there. There's a low pressure system way off to the north. And so normally you would see that. You're like, oh, there's that low northwesterly flow behind it. This is a cold front. But we just showed you the temperatures in northwestern Alberta, and it is warmer there than it is elsewhere in the province. This is actually a warm front that's going to move through from northwest to southeast. So we'll see a little bit of thin cloud cover tomorrow afternoon, and temperatures a couple degrees warmer than we saw today. Thursday, that looks to be our warmest day of the week. We'll get some increasing cloud late in the day out ahead of this low pressure system. That'll bring some showers to northwestern Alberta, maybe a few showers to the Edmonton area Thursday night. Although it looks like most, probably all of it, passes north of us. The bigger story is that kick of warm air out of the south out ahead of that system should have us to about 15, maybe 16 for a high on Thursday. 9 in Fort McMurray today, 13 right now in Grand Prairie, 6 degrees in Red Deer. We've dropped to 8 after a high of 10 earlier today, and just 5 degrees in Lloydminster. We'll slide to around 3 degrees mid-evening, -3, -4 range again tomorrow morning, really similar to what we had today. And then by lunchtime, we're up to about 7 and around 13, maybe 14 for a high tomorrow afternoon. So a couple of degrees above average. Midnight Friday is the deadline in the Mighty Millions Lottery's Porsche and Paris early bird prize draw. You could win a new Porsche 911 and a trip to Paris, or take $200,000 cash. Again, you got to get your tickets by midnight Friday if you want to be eligible for that prize and the grand prize as well. Go to mightymillionslottery.com. 13 tomorrow, 15 or 16 for a high Thursday. As we said, Thursday night, there's a slight chance of a shower. Friday, we'll get some clearing through the afternoon. About 12 or 13 for highs Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe some showers late in the day Sunday. Behind that cold front on Sunday, temperatures will drop back into single digits for highs once again early next week, but then looks like after that it warms up again. So no real cold spell between now and the 24th or 25th of October. The coldest days are the two that we just had.
Sounds great. Thanks, Josh. It was a tough Thanksgiving weekend if you're a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays. The team is now on its way to Seattle, hoping to turn things around in the series against the Mariners. CTV's Scott Hurst reports.
The Toronto Blue Jays now find themselves in desperate need of a win just to keep their World Series dreams alive. The team is now down 0-2 to the Seattle Mariners in the best-of-7 American League Championship Series. The Mariners feasted on the long ball, knocking out 3 home runs in Game 2 on Thanksgiving Monday, while the Jays' offense at times looked like it was in a food coma. Notably, in the middle of the lineup, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who was red hot against the New York Yankees just last week, has now gone cold, and the Jays have only scored 4 runs so far this series in 2 games compared to the Mariners, who've put 13 on the scoreboard over those 2 games. Fans, as you might expect, are disappointed in what they've seen so far, but not giving up hope just yet.
It's disappointing. They need a lot of work to have to figure out if they go back to Seattle. There has to be a turnaround. I don't know. I just hope they can get their bats going again and things work out. But overall, the last 2 games, bad.
The series now shifts to the Pacific Northwest for the next 3 games. Games 3, 4, and 5 will take place on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if the Blue Jays can win at least 2 on the road in Seattle, the series would shift back to Toronto for games 6 and 7. If necessary, those games would take place next Sunday, Monday. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Up next, a fragile ceasefire.
The bottom line is this really a peace deal, or is this only a hostage release deal plus a temporary ceasefire?
The fighting has stopped, but fear remains in Gaza, and
I've seen a lot of really gory stuff on there, some very explicit things on there.
Instagram's new rules meant to protect teens. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
The ceasefire in Gaza is holding, but there is uncertainty as Hamas has yet to deliver the remains of 24 hostages and is reportedly regrouping militarily. The U.S. president says the focus now is to provide food and medicine and to rebuild the beleaguered enclave. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
An emotional and painful homecoming as the remains of 4 deceased hostages arrive at the Forensic Institute for Identification in Tel Aviv.
Learning we're only getting 4 of them was a big kick in the stomach.
Rotem Cooper's father, Amiram, was 85 years old when he was kidnapped from Kibbutz Nir Oz on October 7th. He was killed in captivity. His body is still in Gaza. Families were aware that all 28 deceased hostages would not be returned yesterday, but they hoped they would be able to give more proper burials.
It's very clear that Hamas is playing games, that Hamas is not really cooperating, is not really in good faith.
Hamas has said it will take time to find all the bodies as they aren't sure where they are all located. Late tonight, Israel announced Hamas would release more remains. Their identities not yet known. In response to the delay, Israel said today it will delay the reopening of the Rafah border crossing into Gaza and reduce the amount of aid allowed in. By how much and for how long is not clear. In Gaza City, bulldozers cleared piles of rubble today, a first step in allowing people to return. But with limited equipment and an estimated 84% of the enclave destroyed, according to the UN, it will be a lengthy process.
We don't have enough equipment, enough
loaders or bulldozers to carry out this work.
As Gaza begins to rebuild, questions remain about the durability of this ceasefire and the future of the enclave where Hamas has been trying to reassert itself in recent days. This video, reportedly taken in Gaza City, shows Hamas fighters rounding up several men in a circle and shooting them.
The bottom line is this really a peace deal, or is this only a hostage release deal plus a temporary ceasefire? It's still unclear, but I'm fearful that it's more the latter than the former.
Today, the United Nations put a price tag on how much it will cost to rebuild the enclave, $70 billion, with at least $20 billion needed over the next 3 years. Heather Wright, CTV News, Tel Aviv.
Canada's EV and agriculture industries are seeking relief from punishing tariffs. China now says it is ready to end that pain, but only if Canada acts first. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
Chinese EV brands like Warren Buffett-backed BYD are revving up their presence in Asia and Europe. But steep tariffs have the vehicles locked out of North American markets.
There's no damn way we should drop tariffs on China, I'll tell you that. Absolutely not.
But that's not how all the premiers feel. The premiers of Manitoba and Saskatchewan want Ottawa to scrap its 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles, now that China is pledging to lift its punishing tariffs on Canadian pork and canola in exchange.
When we're talking $2 a bushel off the price of canola just since the tariff announcement, that's quite a big hit to our bottom line.
But while farmers are feeling the financial hit now, experts in the Canadian auto sector fear a bleaker future if cheaper Chinese-made cars start flowing in.
We cannot allow it to happen. These are subsidized vehicles, and they would attempt to take market share from Canadian North American manufacturers without agreeing to trade on a level playing field.
The federal government has said it's reviewing its EV tariffs, a move that will likely come up later this week when the Foreign Affairs Minister meets with her counterparts in China. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister says there is movement on the strained diplomatic relationship between Canada and India.
We are building back to a complement of Canadian diplomats across the country.
Anita Anand is in India meeting with government officials. She says the diplomatic presence needs to be restored before trade talks can be revived. She also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi on this trip. The countries expelled each other's diplomats after Canada accused India of playing a role in the assassination of a Sikh activist in BC. The group, Sikhs for Justice, says Ottawa is prioritizing trade over the safety of Canadians. Instagram is making changes to what teens can see online. Meta says it is limiting access to PG-13 content and requiring parental permission to change settings. CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports.
Tori Beaumont knows how easy it is to get drawn into Instagram.
There's a lot of content on Instagram that's unregulated.
For her, the constant stream of videos and photos can sometimes be too much.
I've seen a lot of really gory stuff on there, some very explicit things on there. It's very good that I feel like they're cracking down on that sort of censorship.
Now, Meta says it's limiting teen accounts to PG-13 content by default and requiring parents to approve any changes. The new system is designed to be easy for parents to understand.
We're doing this to really speak the language of parents who are much more familiar with movie ratings in terms of kind of a familiar model for those who are using Instagram.
It's stuff like this, just any type of killing, anything.
But 17-year-old Bahir Zai says he still has access to mature content.
It does give you a warning saying it does have violence or something, and you could either click CY or you can click just to see the post.
Most kids are just scrolling through reels and stuff like that. I feel like it's a good feature to stop kids from seeing things they're not meant to see yet.
Some parents are already taking steps to filter what their kids see.
When I made the accounts for my kids, I put their ages in and I made sure that everything was tied into what they were doing, and I went to my account to filter it all out.
One technology expert says the new measures may not catch every case.
They will start using artificial intelligence
intelligence to determine if a child is being truthful or is lying about their age. But again, that technology, not 100% perfect. There's still a lot of kids slipping through the cracks.
I have a little reservation about AI being used to try and determine the age of my kids, because it could actually, people who are old enough get scanned young, and it could cause all sorts of problems.
And even teens like Tori Beaumont say the system won't be perfect.
I think it's good that they're trying to put age verification things in place, but I don't think that it's going to work, because let's be real, anyone can lie about their age online.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Coming up, big spender.
They're feeling a bit more resilient, a bit more wanting to go out and celebrate the holiday season.
How Canadians plan to spend smarter this holiday season. Plus, when and where you can catch this year's CP holiday train.
Programming brought to you by Basement Systems Edmonton. Contact us today for all things basement-y.
Checking on the markets, the Canadian dollar closed at 71 cents U.S. Oil was down 79 cents, closing the day at $58.70 a barrel. Gold gained more than $30 on the day. The TSX and Dow Jones both made gains, up 502 points and 202 points, respectively. The Canadian softwood lumber industry is now dealing with an additional 10% tariff from the U.S. That's in addition to an already existing 35% tariff on the sector. BC Premier David Eby is calling on the federal government to support workers whose jobs are being put at risk. Eby says that forestry is a bigger contributor to Canada's GDP than automobiles or steel. Canadian Tire says some customer information was involved in a recent data breach. The retailer says the breached information belongs to shoppers who had an e-commerce account with Canadian Tire or its other banners, including Sport Chek, Marks, and Party City. The data included names, email addresses, and in some cases, incomplete credit card numbers. The company says the information is not enough to access accounts and make purchases. The vulnerability was first identified on October the 2nd. Canada Post mail delivery resumes today in some parts of the country, with workers returning to the job. The union is shifting from a nationwide strike to rotating walkouts. The latest strike began September 25th after the federal government announced plans to restructure Canada Post. The Crown Corporation is on track to lose $1.5 billion this year. The restructuring includes ending door-to-door delivery. A new report shows Canadians will spend more money this Christmas holiday season in comparison with last, but they'll be chasing the discounts. As CTV's Tyson Fedora reports, more Canadians are opting to plan ahead instead of waiting until the last minute.
Canadians are appearing more optimistic financially ahead of this holiday season.
We don't really go in hoping to spend a lot of money, but yeah, again, it sometimes happens. And if you don't do it ahead of time, then I find you end up spending more closer to the holiday trying to make up for it.
Deloitte Canada's latest holiday trend report says of those surveyed, the average person is willing to spend around $1,500 and Westerners slightly more. The majority of that money will be spent in October and November on gifts and experiences.
So Canadians are looking for more value for the dollar spent so that they can make that dollar go further.
But many are still chasing a deal, with 70% of people expecting higher prices this year, driven by inflation.
Definitely noticed that the prices of a lot of stuff has gone up. Kind of hard. I'm in school right now, so it's kind of hard to work and then to go to school and to manage my classes. So yeah, trying to keep it. Been doing more homemade stuff this year.
Nearly 3/4 of Canadians are looking for a deal locally, but many fall back on what they know best, including Amazon and big box retailers.
I think, buying local, it's good for our economy.
We have 3 kids, 13, 10, and 8, and our 13-year-old still wants to go to the mall with her friends. So
yeah, and we like to come and bring them just to see Santa and see when all of that gets set up and whatnot.
This year, there has been a surge in the use of artificial intelligence. 50% have used AI for searches in the last 3 months, up 33% from last year. 1 in 4 say they will use AI to craft their gift-giving plans.
Canadians are looking to AI models for that promotional and product inspiration, whereas in the past they would be leveraging search or e-commerce.
Tyson Fedora, CTV News, Calgary.
Albertans can mark their calendars for the CPKC holiday train. It'll be rolling through this December. The closest stops to Edmonton will be December 8th in Wetaskiwin and Camrose. CPKC says the route changes every year to accommodate as many locations as possible. Jade Eagleson and Tegan Gase are performing on this year's train. The concerts are free, but you're encouraged to make a donation to the local food bank. The CPKC holiday train has raised more than $26 million since its start in 1999. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival has revealed its first performer of 2026. Comedian Matt Rife will headline Saturday night of the festival. Rife is known for his comedy crowd work. Tickets go on sale this week. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival is scheduled for July 17th to 19th at Kinsman Park. Still ahead, Thanksgiving tradition.
Everybody behind me are all volunteers. They've come in today and given their time to be able to give back.
A dinner larger than most, courtesy Nate culinary students.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
While much of Edmonton was asleep early Sunday morning, the students of Nate's culinary program were cooking up a storm, crafting a Thanksgiving meal in bulk to feed those less fortunate. Connor Hogg has an inside look.
Nate culinary students arrived early Sunday morning, not for class, but to cook a meal.
Everybody behind me are all volunteers. They've come in today and given their time to be able to give back.
This Thanksgiving is a little bigger than most. 45 kilos of potatoes, 60 turkeys, 100 liters of gravy, 6 cases of vegetables, and 100 loaves of bread. Many chefs might be intimidated by numbers like those, but not professionals like these.
It's been about a week process trying to get all the ingredients cut up, chopped.
It's not that hard.
With plenty of cups of coffee on standby, everyone has a job to do and different parts to monitor.
Being here to work with a bunch of my classmates and peers from the program, it is nice seeing familiar faces in the kitchen.
A meal is coming together under the watchful eye of their professors, who have been doing this for more than a decade.
You hear about some of the stories where people are down on their luck or you know, it's good to give back. It's good to help out wherever you can.
With the finished Thanksgiving feast in heaters, it's time for the food to make its way downtown.
Being able to give our time this much really does bring us all that sense of joy and pride that we joined the industry for.
The chefs who made this meal don't get to meet the people who are about to enjoy it.
We have a turkey dinner provided by the culinary students at Nate. So could we give them a round of applause for their great...
But they say the emotions they feel are more than enough to make it all worthwhile.
I'm doing something for not just me, for someone else. So I feel like that's what everyone's thinking of, like when they come to do these things.
Food for the stomach and for the soul as well. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
As we mentioned earlier, it was a chilly Thanksgiving weekend, especially Sunday, Monday, but temperatures started to warm back up. We were at 10 degrees today. We'll be up to around 13 tomorrow, although again in the morning, you're 3 or 4 degrees below zero to start the day. Up to about 15 or 16 on Thursday, and then we'll kind of steady out somewhere in that 12, 13 range for daytime highs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 11 degrees, the average daytime high, so above average for the next 5 days as some warmer air rolls back in.
Sounds perfectly reasonable weather on the
Okay, yeah, good.
I approve. I'm glad you approve.
I don't necessarily approve. I'm just telling you what it's going to be.
You look happy about it. You always look happy. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
See ya. I don't want the frost delays in the morning on the golf.